Hello, and welcome to Becoming Together, our next video. We are, of course, talking about navigating the messy middle. And as you come along with the journey, come along with me on this journey as I am evolving, as I am growing, as I am becoming. And so, whether you are here for comfort or you are here to get some tools and strategies to use yourself, or maybe you're coming to get community, welcome. And today, I want us to talk about consistency in the messy middle. And if you have been following along, you know that I have been in this wild, beautiful season of transition, figuring out what's next, rebuilding and refining. And one thing that keeps coming up, not just for me, but also like in conversations with other folks, is the question around how do I keep going when I don't feel clear yet? Like we're waiting for this clarity before we can like keep showing up and doing the thing. And so I want to talk about that, right? I want to talk about structure and habits and why consistency, especially when things feel messy, is the only way that I am making it through and growing in this journey. And so first, talking about structure beating motivation, because I think most of us are waiting for like motivation to do something. Like, I don't feel motivated. And that's cute. But as I think we have all realized, motivation is unreliable. She shows up and she comes and she goes like a really annoying, flaky friend. And so what's been really keeping me grounded is structure. And I used to be really into like Peloton. Not so much, I never had like a Peloton bike or any of the equipment, but I had the app. And I would use the app at the gym and like all of that kind of stuff. And of course, if anyone's in a world, my handle was, I mean, I think it still exists. It's a fit for fries. Like I was getting fit, obviously, to have more fries. You get the point. Jess Sims is a really good instructor on Peloton. One thing that she would always say is, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And that hit me so much. Like, she would say that if, you're ready to kind of give up halfway through, or we aren't finishing this set, right? And it's saying, right, like, are you someone who doesn't finish? Are you someone who doesn't follow through? Like, are you someone that gives in when things get too hard, right? Like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And it was such a powerful motivator for me, obviously, when I was doing the classes, but then even just like reevaluating so many parts of my life. And when I'm even reflecting now in this like season of becoming, I realize that I can't wait to feel like doing something, right? I have to choose to do it and build the habits that will then help me follow through. And I know that's what's happening to many of us, is that like we're waiting to feel inspired. We're waiting to feel motivated, or maybe we're waiting for like confirmation. Like we're waiting for something to happen and then say, okay, now I'm motivated to do the thing, versus like, girl, you just got to do it. And I talked about this before too, like just do it, because the motivation may come from there. And so, for example, for me, that has looked like, well, one, it's June right now. It's almost the end of June. And this month, I was doing like a social media detox, but like reduction, right? Like most people, I was spending way too much time on social media. And I knew that I like wanted to do something different, right? To be more focused, to be more concentrated. How I'm just using my time and energy, not so much that like everything needed to be business. It just was like, yo, like you just want to be able to spend more time outside, but like you're sitting on the couch doom scrolling, right? So I take a sip of my chai latte. I was doing this social media just reduction, I guess that's more of a better word than a detox, where I was, and still am, still June, reducing my social media use to only 30 minutes a day. One thing, like, and I still talk about this, also as well a little bit, just like committing to the process instead of just like mulling over something and like easing into it, just like commit to it and jump right in. And I've been that kind of person for a while. Like, I don't, wait for Monday or wait to the new month. Like, just it's Tuesday at 2 o'clock, just do the thing. Like, I don't know why so many of us feel like it has to be like this, either easing into it or has to be this ceremonial start. Because even when I started this, like, it wasn't like June 1st. I think it was like June 2nd or June 3rd. And I was like, yo, like, you got to get this in check. And so, yeah, just like committing to it. And so when I got into it, I remember talking about this at a presentation I was doing, and someone was asking about it. And I was saying, you have to have, what was helpful for me to make this successful is I already have had some systems and structures in place. So for the past almost 10 years at this point, if not a little bit more. Speaking of just doing things, I cut bangs randomly one day, and now look at them. They are just, anyway, I about 10 years ago, I really wanted to improve my sleep. And this was back when like Fitbits were really big, and I had a Fitbit, and it just showed me that my sleep quality was like absolutely trash. And so I started looking into like different ways to improve your sleep. And obviously, as we all know, using your phone is terrible, both before bed, but then also like when you're kind of getting up, you can kind of grab your phone, right? If it's like next to your bed, and then you just like are, in your phone and not like getting out of bed and like getting your day started. So it's been about 10 years now that I actually haven't slept with my phone. So for the past 10 years, it was mostly limited to during the week, Monday to Friday, where I don't sleep with my phone, meaning that my phone was always like very far away from me. So when I started this was literally like 4 addresses ago. I was in a studio, and so I just would like put it on the other side of like my studio apartment. And then as I moved, maybe it was, outside out of my bedroom in the kitchen, or it was like in the bathroom. It just was further away. And again, I've been doing that for 10 years now. One, either like, because your phone alarm is still really loud, so like you'll still wake up, it gets you out of bed, and then you kind of just get your day going, right? But then also, again, it prevents that late night doom scrolling that happens. And so during this month, I was also committed to these 30 days of reducing my social media, because I did find out that like even if I was not going to sleep with my phone, I would wake up, and then like I grab my phone, I go downstairs, and then I just sit and start scrolling. And so it's all this to say is that it was a habit, right, of putting my phone across the room, so I'm not scrolling until 2 a.m. The habit of then not, when I wake up in the morning, right, not grabbing my phone, still leaving it. Now at this point, I just leave it upstairs, and I go downstairs, I'm making my tea, like I'm getting other parts of my day going, because it's a decision to do something differently. Same with the morning sprints that I run. And so back in 2023, so I can't believe it's been like so long now, 2 years that I've been doing these, but I started doing these morning sprints, and I started doing them by myself at 6 o'clock in the morning. And they were very much so anxiety filled, because at the time there just was a lot going on, and I found myself waking up just with so much on my mind, and like things I got to do, and like, oh yeah, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. And so it started from this really great book, The 12-Week Year, where he talks about, Brian P. Moran, about the importance of like creating intentional time to do things that you need to get done to move you closer to your goals, and whatever it is, right? Again, it could be your business, it can be fitness, it can be quality time, internal time, whatever it is. Like you need to carve out time to work on that, because once life's like those things tend to fall to the wayside. And so in 2023, I had started doing these 6 a.m. sprints. I was like, let me just get up, get my day started. It was a little bit of a tension point. And I picked 6 a.m. because, at the time, I think like my dog would get up by like maybe 7 something, 8 something, whatever it was. And so I was like, think the house is quiet. Like, let me just get up and get things going. And it just gave me more opportunity by starting at 6 o'clock and then starting a little bit later, kind of giving myself more hours in the day. And so I did that by myself from like 6. I was doing 6 to 7:30. Every morning, Monday to Friday, from like end of 2023, I'll say fall of 2023, all the way through the fall of 2024 for the most part. I think 2024 life happened, and you can go back a couple of videos where I talk about lifing in 2024 in the fall. And so I kind of fell off on those, but then I opened them up at the end of 2024 for other people. And so to this day, if you're listening, feel free to join in. Every Monday to Friday from 8 to 9:15 Eastern, I run a 75-minute work sprint, right? And that is my opportunity to get up and get things done and like have that focus time. Do I always feel like it? No. But again, we're not relying on motivation. And then same even with this, right? How I've just started getting more into like making of the videos. I like woke up literally, no, I think it started on a Saturday night. And I was like, again, go back a couple videos, but I needed to just start doing the thing I know I need to start doing. And so it was, tomorrow morning, Christina, like you are just getting up and you're making the video. You don't worry about all the tech, don't worry about all the stuff, like just get up and do the thing. Because I knew that I wanted to become the person and be the person that is consistent, right? Again, back to Jess Sims, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so I started just making sure I'm telling myself, right, I can trust you to show up. Because at the end of the day, we are accountable to ourselves. And if you are like me and you're a Christian, I believe in God. And I realize that I'm also being very disobedient to God by not doing what I need to be doing to bring my vision to life, to fulfill the purpose that I have here on this earth. And so another shift then also became realizing if I don't have a vision that I'm emotionally connected to, none of this matters. And again, this also comes back to the 12-week year. I love this book. I talk about this a lot. And so Brian P. Moran, so the whole premise of this book is how to get more done in 12 weeks than a year, right? Because most of us give ourselves an entire year, entire 12 months to get something done. This is all about, cool, let's do it in 12 weeks. And not so much that it's like hustle, 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 but just more intention. And I think that's what I've really attached myself to as a big takeaway from this book is it's about being more intentional than hustling. And so one of the things he starts with and talks about, I literally have this memorized because I have used this in a lot of my presentations with clients or at conferences and whatnot, right? And that he talks about essentially that you need to have a vision with which you are emotionally connected, because without having a vision that you're emotionally connected to, there's no reason to go through the pain of change. And I love that I always like underline it, or if I'm in a presentation, I make sure I like stop there, because it's going to be us getting to where we want to go is going to require us to do things differently, right? And it is in some way painful, right? Change is not always comfortable. That's the whole point, right? There is a comfort zone for a reason. But if we're thinking about change, it's going to invoke a little bit of pain, right? It's not comfortable and easy to be like, oh, I got to set this alarm at 5:30 in the morning. It's not comfortable and easy to say, I'm going to log on to this 8 a.m. sprint with Chrissy and like get some work done, right? Like, it's a little bit of change, pain, to evoke that change. And so what he's talking about is, though, you need to have a vision with which you are emotionally connected, because that'll help you stay grounded to do the thing that you need to do. Because again, motivation, all right, this may be a choppy edit because I was just moving and grooving and Riverside decided to cut out. But I'm gonna keep going and I'm gonna piecemeal this together, hopefully in a good way. So yes, we have a vision with which we are emotionally connected, or else we'll discover there's no reason to go through the pain of change. And so we, as the book says, we create things twice, first mentally, then physically, right? And so a lot of us are like hopping into Chat GPT and we're trying to make all of these plans and like but like take a step back, right? You need to have a vision that's big enough to pull you forward, not just some cute checklist, right? You need a felt sense of where you are trying to go. Now, you may not have all of the plans, right? You may not have like the clarity 100%, but you need to be able to at least know where you are trying to go. And not just, it could be a business, it can be a life, it can be a career. I say all of it, right? Like, where are you emotionally connected? What really matters to you? And so for me, that means building a life where I feel grounded. I feel well resourced, even in the money, right? Where I am able to not just support myself, so I can support my family and all of the other things. I'll have maybe a whole different thing around my big audacious vision that I have for my life. And my hair looks crazy. And so that's what I anchor into, right? And so when I'm tempted to fall off or I'm tempted to push things off, right? That is what I ground myself in. I have all my props here. I have a notebook, right? And this is where I keep my vision. This is where I have let myself dream, be big about what it is that I want. It is all in here. And so this goes around with me. This, when I sit down in the morning before I start my sprints, I usually get up around like 7:15. My sprints start at 8. And so I go downstairs, make my coffee. I might read a little bit, something to kind of get my brain moving. And then I'm looking at this, right? To ground myself and where I'm trying to go. And so it's just a notebook, right? A very simple notebook. This one says, faith as small as a mustard seed can move mountains. But again, anyone's Christian, you know that. But yes, I have my vision in here of that stuff as well. It's also been really helpful for me. I also really love this book, Vision with Purpose and Power by Dr. Miles Monroe. I go through this every morning. It's a 90-day devotional. Each day has like a different reading and different things for you to kind of really think about what is your vision, the purpose that you have for your life and what God has for you. Also very helpful. And so now, right, I don't just make time for my goals. I'm really thinking about how do I protect that time? And it's, again, not just about business. It's all the other things too. Right. And so even if it's just a focused hour, even if it's messy, I'm still doing it because consistency isn't about perfection. It's about devotion. I'll say that again. Consistency isn't about perfection. It's about devotion. And so a big piece of that, when I was like thinking about this episode for today, is what showed up is around also accountability. And so I think that's another reason, even with the sprints that I run, sometimes people don't show up. Like I am there regardless, Monday to Friday, 8 o'clock a.m. EST. Regardless, I am there. And so sometimes one person shows up, sometimes 7 people show up, sometimes 0 people show up. And so for me, I think it's been helpful to have that time because I am consistent. I'm accountable to somebody else, right? I don't want someone to try and show up and then I didn't feel like it. And so now I'm not there. Like, what does that say about me? What does it say about my brand? And so because I'm accountable to somebody else, I'm going to be there. And again, whether or not people show up, I'm still have this dedicated time to like work on the thing that I need to do. And so that can be very helpful. Just having somebody being accountable to somebody else can help you along the way. But honestly, the real shift is being accountable to yourself. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you got you. God. But at the end of the day, like if those people aren't there, you want to be able to show up for yourself, to the version of you that is trying to come through, to the one of version of you who's saying like, I need you to keep going. Like we are so close. I need you to keep showing up. And so every time you follow through, even when no one is watching, you are building that trust with yourself. You are proving that future you matters so much. So much, right? And so that is a kind of consistency that is rooted in the vision. It's rooted in the structure. And that's really what it is that moves the needle, right? And so if you are in your own messy middle, just know like you don't need a 5-year plan. You know, you don't need all of the fancy whistles and bells and all of the things. You just need some habits. You just need some structure. You just need a vision that you can actually feel, right? You need to move, not because it's perfect, but just because you said you would, because there is a future you that is counting on you to do the thing. And so that is what builds consistency. That is what builds you. And so this week, right, what is just one thing that you can commit to? Even if it's ugly, even if it's small, let me know. I would love to hear from you. And as we all say, right, we know that progress is better than perfection. And so we are not doing this alone, right? We are becoming together. And so I hope you enjoyed today's episode around consistency. And if anything stands out to you, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.